The Toledo Rockets are flying high after an impressive win over St. Joseph's in their season opener. Tonight, Ohio Northern is in town. It's the Rockets and the Polar Bears. Next. It's an all-Ohio college hoop showdown at Savage Arena in Toledo. It's the Toledo Rockets taking on Division III Ohio Northern on ESPN3. Welcome courtside, everyone. He's former Rocket Jay Gass. My name is Mason Lowry, and it's great to have you with us. And if we learned one thing from Toledo's impressive win over St. Joe's on Saturday, it is this. Jay, this Rocket offense already in midseason form.
Well, they certainly did. They came out firing on all cylinders, and their efficiency was phenomenal. They passed and moved well without the ball, and it certainly opened up a lot of opportunities for them to get good shots in their offense, and they certainly took advantage of it.
Well, Jalen Sanford in particular was terrific on Saturday night. Career high, 31 points and 8 assists, and the number that will please Todd Kowalczyk the most, no turnovers.
Well, and Jalen was able to split time at the point guard. He was able to get away from all those duties and move without the ball and utilize his ability to get open off of screens and create his own shot. And I think that was really showed the other night against St. Joe's. He was just phenomenal Saturday night.
Well, Jalen has a couple of new backcourt mates this year, including Marion Jackson, the freshman from Cleveland, gives this Toledo team a dimension it really didn't have last year.
Well, he has a burst of speed to him. He's obviously very good offensively. He was able to give out, I think, 4 assists. But what we really liked about him was the enthusiasm that he played with and the energy that he brought. It was very refreshing to watch him on the court.
Well, Ohio Northern was picked to finish in the middle of the pack this year in the OAC. They only returned 2 starters from a season ago, but one of them is Ryan Bruns, who could give Toledo a hard time in the paint.
Well, Bruns' strength potentially could be Toledo's weaknesses. He's very strong in the post, both on the offensive and defensive glass, but he's very efficient in the short and mid-post area, scoring the basketball, and it's going to be a real test for Toledo tonight to keep him in check.
Game number 2 of a 3-game homestand to start the season here at Savage Arena. We'll have the tip-off right after this on ESPN3. Remind you all of what happened in Toledo's season opener on Saturday. The Rockets hosting Phil Marcelli's St. Joseph's Hawks out of the Atlantic 10, and we said it in the open. The Rocket offense firing on all cylinders, awfully efficient. They knocked down 14 threes on just 25 attempts.
This was very efficient. They handled the ball and certainly shared the basketball, which enabled them to get a lot of good looks out of their sets.
Nate Navigado showed there knocking down one of his 5 threes on the night. Jalen Sanford, sensational, 31 points, 8 assists, no turnovers, which we talked about in the open. As a freshman, he started every game as the 2 guard. Last year, started every game at the point, and now he's kind of a hybrid of the 2.
I think last season, having so much responsibility on the point position and handling and getting them into the offense has obviously made him a more rounded, better player. I think his ball handling's improved. His court vision has gotten better, as we saw Saturday night, and it certainly has just made him a better basketball player and enable him not to be kind of that jump shooting guard that everyone kind of thought he was coming in. He's really showing the ability to get the ball to the basket off the dribble and off his cuts, and it's going to make him that much harder to defend all season.
Here is the Toledo Rockets starting 5. One change from the win over St. Joe's. Taylor Adway will come off the bench. The big sophomore Luke Kanapke into the starting lineup with Nate Navigado up front. Marion Jackson, Trayshawn Fletcher, and Jalen Sanford are the 3 guards. And in this starting 5, everyone, Jay, can shoot the 3.
Without a doubt, and that's part of the advantage of and the confidence that Coach Kowalczyk has in his system. He allows his bigs, Kanapke, Navigado, Adway not as much because he hasn't shown the ability to yet shoot that far away jump shot, but he wants his bigs to face out and spread the floor, which creates opportunities then for the passing lanes.
There are your Polar Bears starting 5. Austin Allmeyer, Nate Berger, Daniel Donner, Joey DiOrio, and Ryan Bruns, who we talked about in the open. Berger and DiOrio, terrific three-point shooters. DiOrio, in fact, a 46% career three-point shooter. We would expect the Polar Bears to shoot a ton from the outside tonight, as will the Rockets.
Well, we got here early enough to really watch Bruns going through a lot of his pregame warm-ups and exercise. I'm real excited to see him play.
Kanapke and Bruns jump center. Tip is controlled by the Rockets. They're in their home gray uniforms. We saw them in big game gold on Saturday against St. Joe's. Ohio Northern of the Ohio Athletic Conference in black. This is Trayshawn Fletcher under the basket. The kick to Nate Navigato. Didn't get the members bounce. Tipped by Bruns out to the point guard, Nate Berger. 5'10 senior from Dayton. Came off the bench as the backup point guard last year and only averaged 13 points a game. He has deep range. That one rims out, and Kanapke grabbed the rebound for the Rockets. Fletcher, too strong. The Rockets have missed their first two from downtown.
You saw Jackson get the outlet pass and really push for the Rockets.
Right on cue, Joey DiOrio, the 46% career three-point shooter for the Polar Bears. Knocks down the three and gives us the game's first 3 points.
Well, he wasn't fazed by Fletcher closing out hard whatsoever. He just took a good stroke to it.
Polar Bears forcing the turnover. Ohio Northern located down in Ada, Ohio. Get a hand to the face of DiOrio. It's Sanford who is on him early. Lost him for a second. DiOrio can't make him pay this time. Nate Navigato was terrific on Saturday night. 22 points. That tied a career high. Hit 5 threes. There's Marion Jackson, the freshman from Garfield Heights. Fletcher trying to weave his way into the paint. Had it denied by Bruns. Got it back and laid it in.
Nice patience by Fletcher there, staying back with it and didn't give up on the play after the block shot.
DiOrio missing at point-blank range. Fletcher lays it in.
Cardinals send defensively there. You don't leave the basketball. Ohio Northern got caught stopping it and then ran away from it. And Fletcher kept his dribble and got all the way to the rim.
So it's Trayshawn Fletcher 4, Ohio Northern 3, 2 minutes in. Berger, a very good outside shooter last year as well, 41.5%. Stumbled with the much taller Nate Navigato on him. He's almost a foot taller than he is. Bruns nearly missed everything, but it fell to Daniel Donner, junior from Belleville, Ohio. A shot clock violation, and it's Toledo basketball. This, by the way, is a regular season game for Toledo. Ohio Northern is playing this as an exhibition. They cannot play games that count toward the standings until tomorrow, as you were.
Well, and that I was not aware of. So, again, I'm glad you got my first good news right away here. You always keep me in the loop.
We do what we can. Berger had his pocket picked from behind by Marion Jackson. Jackson to the streaking Jalen Sanford with a rainbow in the lane.
That was almost kind of a volleyball shot put there. I'm not quite the term. I'm not as versed in volleyball as you are, Mason. But that was kind of a push shot for Sanford, but he got it away quick.
There's a 3-ball for Ohio Northern. It's Nate Berger, the senior. Off the bench last year, gave them 13 points a game to go along with just over 4 rebounds. He hit 7 threes in a game against John Carroll University last year, 29 points. First foul of the game goes against the Polar Bears. That's on Austin Allmeyer.
Toledo's going to have to recognize Ohio Northern's ability to shoot behind the line and really be conscious to close out hard with high hands and really contest those shots, because they can definitely shoot the basketball.
Navigato missing the mid-range jumper. Allmeyer around the screen, but the foul called on ONU. It's the first on DiOrio, senior from Columbus. Marion Jackson there, a nice collegiate debut. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists on Saturday.
And I believe just 1 turnover, if I remember correctly. He thought he handled the basketball very well.
See him already in the opening stages here. He is very quick. Konecki on the turn. Well defended by Ryan Bruns. He'll stay with the Rockets.
Well, we saw Jackson a couple possessions ago sneak in behind there and get that steal, as we see the block there, and Konecki just wasn't able to get it up to the rim. But I think Jackson's going to bring a new dimension to the Rockets at both ends of the floor.
Daniel Donner will put Jalen Sanford at the free throw line. Free throw percentage dipped a little bit as a sophomore, down to 73%, though he did still shoot 39% from long range. And I wonder, Jay, if that maybe had more to do with his expanded responsibility in the offense than anything else.
You'd like to think so. Certainly, if you're a good free throw shooter, you're going to be a good free throw shooter. But again, he played a lot of minutes last year and had a huge role in the offense and defense, and I think it did take somewhat of a toll.
DiOrio catch and shoot. Rebound ripped down by Donner. Spinning on Navigado. Off the heel, and Bruns ran it down. A couple of offensive rebounds on this trip for Ohio Northern.
And it's something we didn't see out of the Rockets. I thought they did a very good job Saturday night against St. Joseph, limiting St. Joseph to one shot. Tonight they're not getting the same bodies on the offensive players, and those long rebounds are kicking back out.
Berger. Too strong, kept alive by DiOrio. The touch pass to Allmeyer, who left it short. Fletcher gave chase, kicked out of bounds by the Polar Bears. It was Allmeyer, I think, who touched it last. And we are at the under 16 media timeout. Both teams coming out firing from long range. Ohio Northern has attempted 8 threes already, and they trail the Toledo Rockets by 2. It's 8-6, Toledo leading Ohio Northern with 15-18 left in the first half here at Savage Arena. There's a good look at Todd Kowalczyk. Done a tremendous job in getting this Toledo program turned around compared to where it was when he took over. Record of 121 and 110 coming into this matchup. The 8th all-time meeting between Toledo and Ohio Northern, though just the 2nd since the mid-1930s. Rich Bensman in his second year as the head man of the Polar Bears. Had been an assistant coach there before taking over. Trayshawn Fletcher. Nice step around Joey DiOrio. Fletcher had to go off his fingertips and back out of bounds. Taylor Adway has checked in for the Rockets, the junior from Hazel Crest, Illinois. And Luke Konecki now on the bench.
You might have Alderson might be in the game as well, Mason.
Indeed he is. Dylan Alderson, the freshman from Clarkston, Michigan. That's Donner from the outside. Bruns with another offensive rebound. He missed the putback, and this time it's Taylor Adway with both hands on it. Not difficult to see the Ohio Northern MO in the early going here. They've attempted 11 shots. Make that 12 shots now, 9 of them from beyond the arc.
And they're getting those long rebounds, which the Rockets have to recognize it's going to kick out.
Alderson with the extra pass to Nate Navigado.
Extra pass is right, Mason. The Rockets really did real well with that the other night, and make that one more pass, and they got a lot of open looks off of it. So,
Kowalczyk has to be pleased with seeing Nate Navigado heat up early in the year. Last year he did not play very well in non-conference play, and that only shot 50% from beyond the arc against Mid-American Conference opponents as DiOrio knocks down another.
Uncontested. Again, the Toledo not only got to get their hands up, they got to get bodies closer into these shooters, because the more they shoot, Ohio Northern's just going to keep getting more and more confidence.
Fletcher had it poked away from behind by DiOrio. Fletcher from close range with a teardrop.
And if Fletcher's another player who's just going to continue to get more comfortable when you think that he has not played much in quite some time.
Adway almost poked it away from Bruns, who drew the double team, and a nice cut from Daniel Donner to make it 13-11.
What you like Donner did there was he cut down the lane. His man went the double, and he didn't just stand. He made a basket, cut right down the lane, moved without the ball, and it paid off for him.
Daniel Donner averaged less than a point per game last year, only made 12 appearances. An offensive foul on the Rockets.
I believe
Taylor Adway.
Yes, they got Adway on setting the down screen, tried to free up Fletcher, and Fletcher may have come off the screen early. Adway trying to set it at the last minute, got caught for the moving screen.
Same call the other way. Austin Allmeyer picks up his second. Sophomore from Elida, traditional Western Ohio power. Produced some awfully good players over the years, including Reggie McAdams in the Mid-American Conference, who was very good at Akron. Brandon Hawkins off the bench for the Polar Bears. 6'4" senior from Apple Creek, Ohio. Ohio Northern, like a lot of schools its size, also has a junior varsity team. Hawkins, a player who has spent a lot of time at the JV level at ONU. Push before the shot as Adway was fouled underneath.
You see Adway showing here high, gets it up. It'd be nice to see him get that high pass and keep it up at shoulder level and be able to take it straight up as opposed to dropping it down. He got away with it there, but it'd be nice to see him power right through that contact.
Foul was on Hawkins. Alderson the drive and kick to Sanford, missed off the heel. Bruns a little bit stronger than Adway that time. Really impressed with what Ryan Bruns has given Ohio Northern so far. Yet to score, but does have 4 rebounds and 2 assists. Berger flashed open for a moment. Alderson is on him, goes right by him to lay it in and tie it at 13.
Well, unnoticed there was the kind of a back screen that Bruns set on the drive there. You talked about what he's doing. He really opened up that drive by occupying 2 Toledo defenders.
Sanford passed up the long 2. Found Alderson, who could not connect. Ohio Northern last year had a record of 16-10. This year picked 6 out of 10 teams in the OAC. Giving the Rockets a real test right now. Bruns on the turnaround and hit it over Taylor Adway.
Just as advertised, that mid-post shot there, and he turned strong and decisively and took it right up over the Adway, who has obviously much better jumping ability, but he froze him.
Sanford will set up the offense, 15 to shoot. And that familiar point guard role from next year. Adway rolls off the screen. Alderson couldn't find him. Navigado got his man up in the air. Now 3 to shoot. Sanford lets it fly. And the long rebound ripped down by Daniel Donner.
Toledo's playing a lot of perimeter offense tonight. We're not seeing the same penetration and kick that we saw Saturday night out of them.
Berger, in and out. Fletcher skying in for the rebound. 6 points and 4 boards for the Colorado transfer. Make that 8 points and 4 boards.
Again, something he gives the Rockets maybe they haven't seen as much of, coast to coast. Right off the bat, defensive backward all the way straight down the lane, and no one stopped the ball again. That's twice he's been able to get all the way to the rim on something like that.
Bruns drew the double team. So Ohio Northern squad has shooters everywhere, so the double team was dangerous. And case in point, Nate Berger knocks one down from the left wing.
The rotation was a little bit slow. Navigado went to the double, and then they got caught. He came up, picked up the open guy, but the weak side rotation wasn't there for the Rockets.
Sanford got the handoff, challenged Bruns, back to the outside, Navigado, too strong, long rebound to Adway, tries it from the free throw line, he can't hit it.
Well, as hot as the Rockets were Saturday night, they're just as cold here so far tonight.
That's Donner, that's another 3. They've hit 5 threes in the first 10 minutes.
And show no signs of slowing down. I mean, boy, they catch and get it out of their hands quickly. They got 3 or 4 guys with quick releases.
Navigado hits.
A little penetration by Fletcher there. Navigado replaces and moves to an open spot to kick back out. As you know from other years I was working here, Mason, I love the ball going inside, getting kicked back out to the shooters. I think that's such a better look for the shooter.
And Navigado, the only Toledo player to make a three-point shot so far, and there's Bruns going to work at the other end.
Well, he just turns right into that defender, doesn't shy away whatsoever, but he's got a nice mid-post game.
(23-18) Polar Bears, and a blocking foul. It's called on Ohio Northern. That is their 6th foul in this first half. The Rockets have only been whistled for 1. Well, how about this Ohio Northern ball club? They've hit 5 threes already. They can score from the inside, too. Nate Berger, the point guard, going to work in the paint. Ohio. Well, a bit of a surprise here at Savage Arena. Ohio Northern has come out guns a-blazing, and they lead Toledo 23-18, though it should be noted that Ohio Northern does have some history with beating Division I teams. As a Division III school, they have 4 wins at the D3 level over Division I schools. They beat Louisiana Tech back in 1996. They beat Northern Arizona and Portland in 1981, and beat Oklahoma in 1980. That's awfully impressive.
Very much so.
Nate Navigado off the inbound speed from Justin Roberts, who just checked in. Justin Roberts out there for the first time. So is Dwayne Rose Jr., number 1 for Toledo. And Luke Kanapke returns. Brandon Hawkins off the cut. Kanapke sends it away. But Ohio Northern so good at winning races to the basketball. Bruns catch and shoot, in and out. Off the hand of Caleb Bryan for a moment. He's out there now for ONU. Kanapke called for steps.
Just a little quick with it, but again, another offensive rebound by Ohio Northern. I think that would be up to 6. As we see Rose here penetrating, and Kanapke, I think, wanted to pull the trigger on that, but Bruns did a good job of closing out on him and really forced him into the turnover.
Those two know each other quite well, Luke Kanapke and Ryan Bruns. High school teammates at Marion Local. That's a Division IV school, the smallest division in the state of Ohio, though Marion Local is certainly not small. I wonder how most schools that size deal with 6'11", 6'8" in the front court.
Very difficult.
Very carefully.
Yes. I would assume that you try to up-tempo them and try to keep it out of those bigs' hands as best they can. So.
8 minutes left in this first half. Ohio Northern leading Toledo by 3. Back to Savage Arena in a moment. That is not the face of a happy Todd Kowalczyk. His Rockets trailing Ohio Northern by 3 with 8 minutes left in the first half. Jay, your thoughts on what you've seen so far?
I think Toledo's come out there. They haven't had that same zest, that same energy that we saw Saturday night. Again, the opponent's different, but you have to come ready to play every night. And I don't think the Rockets started out tonight with that, but part of that's Ohio Northern and their ability to shoot the basketball, and they've posed problems for the Rockets from behind the three-point line.
Nate Berger missing the 3. Navigado, quick touch pass for Dwayne Rose Jr. Kanapke there with a tip.
Good ball movement by the Rockets there, and Kanapke went to the rim and was able to get in good position right off the miss.
Kanapke, the redshirt sophomore. One of really only 2 true post players on this Toledo team, along with Taylor Adway. Kanapke pulls down his 4th rebound of the game. He did not start in the win over St. Joe's, came off the bench and gave them 10 points and 7 rebounds, and that bucket inside from Fletcher gives the Rockets a 1-point lead.
Rockets spread the floor that time. They really had 5 guys out behind the line and gave Fletcher a big lane to try to work down through, and he was able to get to the basket again.
Lob inside, intercepted by Kanapke. Jason Candle might be able to use that at free safety tomorrow night against Bowling Green. Fletcher in the lane, through contact, and one more coming at the line.
Outstanding concentration and body control by Fletcher that time. He held his strength. He was able to get the ball up, and if you recognize here, his eyes never left the basket all the way through. For all those young guys out there watching, he didn't stop and look away. He didn't let the contact take it up, but his focus stayed on the basket, and he was able to finish it.
Rich Bensman calls a timeout. The Rockets on an 8-0 run the last minute and 56 seconds.
Well, he can't be, Coach Bensman can't be happy about the penetration that we've seen out of Toledo now since this last timeout. Fletcher now has twice been able to get to the rim, and then the other basket that the Rockets scored, as you can see, a very animated timeout there. But Kanapke basically goes unblocked out and gets the tip in for the follow through. I mean, you know, again, yeah, they're giving out a big height advantage away to Big Luke, but Ohio Northern has to be able to get a body on the missed shots and keep Toledo to only having one chance at the offensive glass.
It's an Ohio Northern program that from 2010 to 2016 only had one winning season. Coach Bensman has done a nice job of getting that program headed in the right direction. Was an outstanding high school coach before coming to Ohio Northern. 18 seasons, won nearly 300 games at Reading High School down near Cincinnati, including one state championship. Deshaun Fletcher now with 13 points. Dylan Alderson checks in. Todd Kowalczyk always said last year, Treshawn Fletcher's the best player in our practices.
Yep.
He's going to be outstanding for us next year, and might have been a little bit of nerves from him in the season opener on Saturday, but he's been terrific tonight. Bruns left alone from the top. Ohio Northern cooling off, scoreless the last 2.5 minutes. Roberts on the run out. Alderson, Sanford all alone for three, left it short.
Good look by Alderson there on the run out. He really kept his eye open and found the right play. Jalen just couldn't knock it down.
Justin Roberts almost forcing a turnover as he poked it away from Joey Diorio.
We're starting to see glimpses from the Rockets, and I saw it Saturday night with Jackson and Alderson and even with Justin Roberts from last year, where the pressure on the perimeter at their guard play is starting to pick up, and I think you're going to see a real benefit during the course of the season of the Rockets' ability to guard on the perimeter as long as they can limit the penetration. St. Joe's was able to get a lot against them Saturday, but I think you're going to see a big improvement with the Rockets over that this year.
Shot clock down to 5, though as we've learned it doesn't take long for Ohio Northern to get shots up. Berger missing from NBA range. Kanapke. He hit 50% of his threes last year, 17 of 34. That's something you see every day from a 6'11 guy.
He's comfortable out there, and coach is comfortable in him making that play, and that's not a bad shot for him. Somebody took a charge. I'm not sure. You got Kanapke and Roberts and several people getting up off the floor. So
well, it took a little while for our officials, Glenn Mayborg, Matt Morales, and Jerry Schertzinger, to figure out what exactly happened. A lot of contact, we know that. The foul is on Nate Berger. That's his first. 8 fouls on Ohio Northern, as you see at the bottom of your screen. So far in this first half, Toledo with just the one. It's called on Taylor Adway. On the offensive end, Kanapke working his way in on Donner, and that's a mismatch.
It's a mismatch in the biggest way. He just doesn't have the size or the strength to really hold Kanapke from backing him down.
Luckily, not a lot of athletic 6'11", 235-pound guys at the Division III level. Justin Roberts called for the foul as he was guarding Caleb Bryan.
It'll be interesting to see if the Rockets on their own can recognize that and the next time down and see if they don't come back to it and really try to learn to exploit a weakness, because as you get into it, start going into further play against the higher level competition, you've got to, when you find a weakness, you've got to exploit it. We see Toledo kind of setting up in a 1-3-1 out of this outside line, out of bounds.
It will be big for Toledo as this year progresses to have both Taylor Adway and Luke Kanapke stay out of foul trouble. That was problematic at times last year because really there isn't anyone else on the bench that can come in and fill those roles. We were talking before the game, you could theoretically throw Nate Navigato out there at the 5. They won't be able to guard him defensively. Berger left alone, catch and shoot. Alderson closed him down, but not quickly enough.
They really need to know where Berger is. He seems to find a good seam and get it away quickly.
Roberts swung it to Navigato, who lost the handle. Here comes Nate Berger with Ohio Northern trying to tie it down by 3, in and out from Diorio. Kanapke. Rockets now 3 of 12 from beyond the arc, and Big Luke now with 7 points.
I like the skip pass from Sanford there. He skipped Navigato at the point, went right across to Big Luke, and that gave him enough time to get the shot away open.
Defending by Navigato that time to make sure Berger couldn't get the shot away. Brandon Waugh in off the bench, missing at close range, freshman from Columbus. Roberts swung it out to Sanford all alone, and Jalen Sanford has not been able to find the shot tonight. He's just 1 of 7. Rockets, though, keep it alive, and Sanford draws the foul in the paint. That's on Waugh.
Both of those, and again, Justin Roberts takes that pass on the wing out of the semi-break, and he's able to swing it around and then the long rebound. And again, had Sanford not gotten in charge there, Alderson had a good look at a jump shot, but again, inside out with those passes, and you're going to get better looks behind the line.
Brandon Waugh had a terrific senior season at Columbus Northland. Had at least one double-double of points and steals last year, so a very good defensive player. And you may recall, last year, the exhibition game Toledo played against Ohio Dominican, they had a Waugh from Columbus Northland, Shamar, who was terrific. Little guy, about 5'8", 140 pounds.
I remember him all over the court that night, so not your typical double-double when you're talking points and steals. So I'm sure he'll be a fine player for Ohio Northern.
Well, here's what Ohio Northern has coming up to open for them the games that actually count. This game we mentioned earlier, an exhibition for the Polar Bears. It is a varsity game, I suppose you could call it, for Toledo, and never easy when 4 of your first 5 are on the road, 5 of 6, including this one.
Whatever level you're playing at, whatever, and whoever you're playing, it's not good. But again, it kind of adds some early season adversity, I guess it were, and certainly coming in and playing against a Division I school like Toledo is good. But there again, they've got some good teams coming up. Obviously, we're pretty familiar with Defiance and Case Western, so.
Going to say a couple of those games they won't have to travel that far. Cleveland, Defiance, also Capital down in the
Columbus,
state capital. Yes, indeed, in Columbus. And for Toledo, this is kind of a nice primer for the Hoop Hall Miami Invitational, which is coming up, starting on Saturday with a really terrific Oakland program, a model of mid-major efficiency. Greg Campy will bring his Golden Grizzlies into town. A couple of tough ones on the road at Syracuse and Kansas, a game with Cornell, because why not? You're in Syracuse, might as well make the swing down to Ithaca. And then Texas Southern, coached by former Indiana head man Mike Davis. They won the SWAC last year. They played Washington State awfully tough on the road in the opening weekend. They had a 20-point lead that they ended up losing in overtime.
I really like the Rockets' pre-conference schedule. I think they're seeking out some there's a real method to the madness with scheduling, and I think they're going to come out end of December a much better team than they go into it as.
Adway affecting the shot off of him will stay with Ohio Northern. And outside of Kansas and Syracuse, not a ton of, one might say, sexy matchups per se. Here's Adway flashing that athletic ability that we talked about earlier, but some really good mid-major opposition. Marshall and Wright State will come in. You know, Detroit Mercy will be better this year in Bakari Alexander's second season. Get to go to the Palestra, too, one of the true cathedrals of college basketball, and play Penn on December the 29th. That's pretty cool.
That's just and again, just in the experience of some of that competition and some of those locations. Again, going into Fog Allen and playing, and I have no doubt that you will see a better Rockets team then than we do going into it.
Alderson was pushed before the shot. That's true. You get to go to Fog Allen, the Palestra, and the Carrier Dome same season. Not a lot of schools can claim that. Foul was called on Travis Fitzhands off the bench, number 24.
Too bad I have to work for a living, or I'd be piggybacking him on all those trips because it's like a vacation to heaven there for the basketball guy.
Let me ask you this. Fog Allen or the Palestra, where would you rather go? Or have you been to either venue?
I have not. Probably Fog Allen. In fact, I was real close to booking the trip to go this year to watch. And again, my schedule didn't allow me to make the trip this year, but Kansas wasn't someone back 100 years ago that recruited me, so I didn't get to take that visit. But again, I think just anybody that knows the history of the game, it's one of those things that's probably on the bucket list.
I'd have to go with the Palestra, and obviously so much history at Fog Allen, but as kind of a college basketball nerd, would love to see that sometime. As a fan, broadcaster, doesn't much matter. Won't be me as a player. Nate Berger is a player. Hits another three. He now has 14 points. His fourth triple of this first half, and the Polar Bears still keeping it close.
Well, they're certainly come out, and they're convinced that they have every business being out on the floor with this Division I team, and so far they're showing it.
Sanford has struggled with a shot. Just 1 of 7 so far. Has missed all 4 threes he has attempted. Finds Alderson here, and he can't connect. Fletcher, though, the offensive rebound, and took it away from Nate Berger. And Fletcher now with 15 points.
Well, he's making a living just around the basket in this first half.
Seven of 10 shooting, 15 points in 15 minutes. Berger, Sanford slow to close him down. Kanapke with a rebound. And then Waugh took it away from Alderson. What a pass. Berger, Waugh in the corner. Buries the three. Got the members bounce. 34-32.
All made up by the defensive play of Waugh there. A good heads up. He didn't turn and run. And he caught Alderson sleeping a little bit.
Nice cut by Sanford. Great pass to find him from Fletcher.
Well, if you're not getting a jump shot to go as a shooter, go take a drive to the basket, see the ball go in the rim, and hopefully that kind of gets your rhythm going.
Brunn's not much of a threat to shoot from the outside. Only attempted 2 threes last year, missed them both. Under a minute left in the first half. That's Fitzhands. Fletcher up high for the rebound. 15 points and 6 boards in the first half for him, and then a turnover. Tried to send it to the corner, but Waugh was ready for the pass. Blows by Roberts and put it off the underside of the backboard. And then Roberts turning it over again. DiOrio was right there. Pull up 3. Todd Kowalczyk calls timeout with a little shake of the head.
He's not going to be pleased. I mean, that's back-to-back turnovers really too. More so Justin than Fletcher there, but careless passes. And Fletcher, when he's driving, has got to be aware of that last trailer. He had everyone accounted for except for Waugh on that kick-out pass that was intended for Sanford in the corner.
Todd Kowalczyk, in spite of the struggles this evening, has made a point of saying repeatedly since summer how much he loves this team, thinks they play very well together, they love playing for each other. You get the sense there's a good mix of personalities in this group.
It's a very cohesive unit. I think he likes the group. I think he likes how they coexist with his staff and how they've responded to a lot of what they're doing. Maybe not as much tonight, but again, we're only halfway through this game, but Again, you want to see how they respond to adversity. It's easy to be upbeat and play hard when things are good. Let's see how they respond after a poor first half by Toledo standards.
Shot clock is off. Rockets can play for one shot. Now under 10 left in the half. Kanapke out to set the screen. Sanford pushed to the corner. Navigado too strong. Berger at the buzzer. Not far away.
He was a step outside his range on that one.
Maybe only a half step for him. Well, how about this Ohio Northern Polar Bears team? Within a point of Division I Toledo here at the half at Savage Arena. Ohio Northern has hit 9 threes thus far. Toledo, by contrast, just 3 of 15 from beyond the arc. Rockets take a 1-point lead into the locker room, up 36-35 on Ohio Northern. The Polar Bears, though, the story so far. Who doesn't love halftime hungry Hippos here at Savage Arena? The highlight of the night so far, arguably, Toledo only leading Ohio Northern by a point, 36-35. You like that, did you, Jay?
I'm sorry. It just division is just
absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? But they win hard. That's the hardest.
Yes,
the hardest anybody played in the first half was the folks at halftime. So far, Ohio Northern played a phenomenal first half.
That's former Rocket Jay Gast. I'm Mason Lowry. Thanks for joining us. Ohio Northern, 9 made threes in the first half. Did not get to the free throw line. Had a few offensive rebounds. Couldn't turn them into any points. But credit them, they're only down 1 of the half. A terrific effort from them in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, surprisingly, with this, I think they had 7 offensive rebounds that they didn't convert on any of those. But boy, the same thing we talked about with the Rockets before, with Ohio Northern created shots by penetrating and kicking it. Really, the only bright spot offensively for the Rockets was Fletcher, and he kept getting to the rim, much to the chagrin of the Ohio Northern coaching staff. But he really kind of carried the Rockets there throughout that first half.
Nate Berger, outstanding outside shooter, hit 4 threes in the first half. Joey DiOrio knocked down 3 of his own. Toledo, for them, it was an almighty struggle from range in the first half, just 3 of 15.
Well, and part of it was shot selection, and part of it was the continuity and the fluidity of the offense. You know, there was a lot of standing around, and you can see right there Ohio Northern moving without the basketball, catching the cutter. Toledo, we didn't see as much of that out of them, and really was in this short season, probably the poorest offensive performance, that we've seen from the Rockets.
Well, especially considering how spectacular they were on Saturday night in the opener, knocking down 14 threes. Here's Daniel Donner hitting one for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears, playing their exhibition game before they start regular season play on the 20th. Luke Kanapke looked good in the first half. He had 7 points and 8 rebounds.
I thought Kanapke looked good, and again, as I said, Fletcher really looked more comfortable tonight than he did Saturday night. Again, you're just going to continue to see that since he sat out for some time. But Ohio Northern's efficiency, and they took advantage of every possession that they had and created some other possessions there. Off of a couple steals from Toledo that they kind of came unexpected, and Toledo's going to have to really kind of focus themselves here at halftime. And again, I'm anxious to see how they come back from the adversity of not playing as well. DiOrio with the steal and triple. Just a 1-point game here at the half. Toledo up 1 on Ohio Northern. You see the MAC Tournament Championship and NCAA Tournament participant banners unveiled last weekend before the Toledo women's home opener. They're in action down at Louisville right now, by the way. Might have another game on Saturday in the WNIT here at Savage Arena. As far as this game is concerned, though, pretty good one, honestly, here at the half. Toledo up 1 on Ohio Northern. Halftime here at Savage Arena. Toledo clinging to a 1-point lead over the Ohio Northern Polar Bears, a Division III school down in Ada, Ohio.
Hello, young lady. I bet she enjoyed the first 20 minutes. And I know the Ohio Northern fans behind their bench certainly did.
Good following up for the Ohio Northern fan base, and they've been loud and vocal, and they've had a lot to cheer about here in the first half. So no reason that they're not going to continue to shoot the ball as well as they have. So hopefully Toledo gets out and defends a little bit more.
Here are the first half numbers. When you break it down, Ohio Northern attempted 24 threes in the first half, just 12 from inside the arc, and as a result, Toledo a commanding points in the paint advantage. Ohio Northern had the lead for 5 minutes and 14 seconds. You pointed out a statistic to me during the break that we don't see right here, and that's the assist-to-turnover ratio for Toledo. Just 6 assists and 8 turnovers. Not good.
No, and again, we saw several there at the end of the half with a couple of sloppy passes. And we were so pleased Saturday night, and we saw a much better ratio for Toledo. Certainly they got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball because you're losing out on a lot of opportunities to score when you're turning the ball over. And obviously the points in the paint shouldn't surprise us simply because, Toledo should have a noticeable size advantage on them. And Trayshawn Fletcher is really credited with that because of his ability to drive the ball both in transition and out of the set offense.
Fletcher with a game-high 15 points to go along with 6 rebounds. Toledo up 1 on Ohio Northern. Back to Savage Arena after this. Halftime at Savage Arena. Toledo up 1 on Ohio Northern, 36-35. Jay, real quick, keys to the second half, especially for Toledo.
Toledo has to get back to offensive movement, both the player movement and ball movement, to get better shots. Ohio Northern's going to have to more of the same. They're going to have to, again, they got to shoot the ball as well as they can. And the longer they stay in it, obviously, the better chance they have of pulling this thing out at the end.
Last time these two teams met was 1985. That was a game Toledo won by just 1 point. They lead by 1 at the half. Second half action coming your way after this. Beautiful night here in Northwest Ohio. Toledo leading Ohio Northern 36-35. This D1, the D3 matchup. Mason Lowry alongside Jay Gast. Glad that you're with us. Jay, based on the first half, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between the D1 and the D3 team.
Well, yeah, again, I think, Ohio Northern came out and they came ready to play, and this was they approached this with the right way. Not sure that Toledo was fully engaged that first half. Coming off of a big game like they did from Saturday, I guess that's somewhat understandable. I'm excited to see how the Rockets respond here in the second half.
Well, you pointed this out to me during the break, something I hadn't really noticed in the first half. Marianne Jackson only played 5 minutes, sat for a while. Offensive rebound by Daniel Donner underneath the Polar Bears. All alone, Austin Allmeyer, he sat for a while with 2 fouls, missed the 3, and another offensive rebound, this time DiOrio. Donner calling for it. He left it short. Trayshawn Fletcher, the star of the first half for the Rockets, rips down the rebound. He now has 15 points and 7 boards. Yeah, make it 18 and 7.
Again, that's one that I think within the rhythm of what they're doing. It was a little quick, but I think Fletcher's kind of feeling it, and certainly gets the Toledo off to a good start offensively in the second half.
Ryan Bruns backing his way in. The hook over Kanapke, way too much on it. 2 high school teammates battling one another. Bruns, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in the first half. And Luke Kanapke now with 9 points and 8 rebounds.
Well, there you saw the penetration and the phenomenal court vision by Fletcher. He kicks it back to Kanapke, who moved without the ball and got to the rim. Much better movement by the Rockets that time. Well, how about that? Something that we didn't get a chance to see there, but Jackson came out and denied that wing, or that point to wing pass. We don't often have seen that from the Rockets in the past. Good defense.
Good start to the second half from the Toledo Rockets. They score the first 5 points. Force Ohio Northern into a quick timeout. Only leading Ohio Northern by 6, and you have to wonder at this point where they would be without Trayshawn Fletcher.
Well, they would be down quite a few points. Trayshawn's making good decisions. He's really getting the ball to the basket, and as we saw in that last possession, he's involving his teammates. He got big Luke there for a cut for the layup and the dunk.
Trayshawn Fletcher had 13 points on 2 of 9 shooting, 8 of 10 to the free throw line against St. Joseph's on Saturday. He has been terrific so far in this one.
Well, I talked to him a little bit before the game, and there was a little nerves and a few cobwebs, and I think he's just kind of getting his legs back now.
Big block there by Kanapke. Marion Jackson open for 3. Jackson, who did not score in limited minutes in the first half, his first points of the night, and that Toledo lead that was just 1 at halftime has ballooned up to 9.
Well, I think Marion's going to be a really good player for the Rockets. I really enjoy watching him at both ends of the floor.
6 feet tall and rangy. High school standout at Garfield Heights High School in Cleveland. High school teammate of Willie Jackson, who transferred to Toledo from Missouri, will be eligible to play for the Rockets after the fall semester concludes. So his first game in the Midnight Blue and Gold should be against Jackson State on December the 20th. Kanapke backing in against his old high school teammate Ryan Bruns. Gave it up to Marion Jackson, who missed from close range.
But that's okay. There's more movement. Jackson moved without the ball. Kanapke found it. You can live with that. Watch Jackson defensively there. We get out on the point guard.
Joey DiOrio, too strong off the heel, but runs, tracked it down. That's Berger from the free throw line, and he was fouled. It's the first on Marion Jackson.
I think he confused everybody by being on the underside of the three-point line. No one really knew what to expect from him.
Now Berger 4 of 10 from three-point range in the first half, just 1 of 4 from inside the arc. Nate Berger for the last 3 years was the Ohio Northern backup point guard. Toledo trailing Louisville in women's basketball. See an update on the bottom of your screen. Cardinals up 47-32 in the second half. The Rockets do not come from behind and upset a top 10 ranked Louisville team. We'll have a preseason WNIT matchup here on Saturday against a team to be determined, which we will have for you on ESPN3. What a pass that was from Berger to a streaking Daniel Donner.
Streaking was right. He ran the length of the floor right down the center of the court and got right to the lane, caught it in stride, and good delayed break there by Ohio Northern.
It's the third foul on Austin Allmeyer. Sophomore from Elida. Sanford, that moved just a little too quick, and Allmeyer's hand was still out there.
That deceptively quick crossover, and Sanford kind of lulls you with that. He has the ability to change speeds and really get it into another gear himself.
Well, he is very, very smooth. He sort of glides, don't you think? Fletcher had it blocked down low by both Donner and Bruns. Just 4 to shoot. Fletcher eyes a 3 with 1 on the shot clock, almost banked it in, and Allmeyer collects the rebound for Ohio Northern. Berger couldn't get the step back away. Fletcher didn't give him a moment's peace. Rockets scoreless the last couple of minutes. Berger with Navigado sliding defensively. And Berger now with 17 points.
Kind of slid back there and created a little bit more space, and just enough to get it out over the outstretched arms of the much bigger Navigado.
Speaking of a much bigger Navigado.
Well, once again, moving without the basketball towards the basket that time. Toledo's got a little bit better movement in their offense here in the second half.
Navigado with 10 points. Second Rocket in double figures. DiOrio fouled by Fletcher. Second Toledo foul in the second half. The Rockets trying to keep Ohio Northern at an arm's length. Toledo led by just 1 at the half. Now with the under 16 timeout, they're up 6 on the Polar Bears. Ohio Northern trailing Toledo by 6. We're only down by 1 at the half, but the Rocket offense has come to life somewhat as the Polar Bears have gone ice cold, sort of living up to their nickname, I guess. Just 2 of 9 from the floor, and more critically, they have yet to make a 3 in the second half, and that was their bread and butter in the first 20 minutes.
Well, they haven't taken the volume of them yet. You're starting to see them move inside the line. Maybe Toledo's defense is inched down and contesting that a little bit more and trying to take it away. I know we've seen Jackson defending pretty strongly on the perimeter right now.
Todd Kowalczyk's Toledo team took 25 threes against St. Joe's on Saturday. For him, it maybe wasn't quite enough. He made a point of saying in the offseason, wanted this year's team to shoot more threes. That's a shot clock violation out of the timeout. Not a good look for the Polar Bears.
No, you can't have that. You're coming. When you're coming out of the timeout, you expect to have, kind of have one of your bread and butter things. And I think it's one of the things we've gotten used to Coach Kowalczyk is the Rockets usually are very efficient coming out of the timeout with whatever set he calls.
Daniel Donner reaching in on Trayshawn Fletcher. Donner, the junior from Belleville, Ohio.
Well, really, Fletcher somewhat created that foul simply because he moved along the baseline from that opposite wing and posted up pretty strong.
Walks as good as a hit, I guess. This is Navigado posting up. Don't see that every day. Couldn't finish, though. Great run back defensively by the junior from Geneva, Illinois. And traveling is the call on Sanford as he went through Brandon Waugh.
Navigado made a real nice play there. He missed a shot that I'm sure he thinks he should have made. He didn't hang his head, and he got in transition and got the steal. And good defensive play by Waugh there, and Sanford needed to turn and square.
Well, you could see Sanford turn around, saw Waugh was there, and kind of went, "Oh,
yeah."
Now what do I do?" That's what Nate Berger does. He takes threes from long range. Came up empty that time. Fletcher through the lane, double clutches, missed a shot, but he'll shoot 2.
Well, you can sure see where Fletcher loves that left hand as he was even coming right across the lane. We'll see him. He's moving to his right, and he brings it all the way back to his left hand. Probably a good move since he kept the ball away from the defender, but he's certainly left hand strong.
A well-traveled Trayshawn Fletcher. Transfer from Colorado, born in Arkansas, but moved to Washington when he was in the 7th grade.
I've been hearing for well over a year from the Rocket staff just the intangibles that he has brought to the team and the program, they've just he's been a real pleasure to have around for not only his basketball sense, but his influence he's had on some of the other players. Speak very, very highly of him.
Second year in a row that Todd Kowalczyk has had a really good one-year transfer. Fletcher trying to slash his way through the defense, but great work from the much smaller Nate Berger back defensively. Small and quick. Berger listed at 5'10", in amongst the trees. The kick out to the wide-open Ryan Bruns, who couldn't connect. Strong hands, though, from DiOrio to keep it alive. Fitzhands tried to send that through traffic, and Sanford picked it off.
One too many pass by the Polar Bear that time.
Sanford missed the long 2, and his offensive struggles continue. Now 2 of 9 and has yet to make a 3 after going off for 31 points against St. Joseph's on Saturday.
And that might have been somewhat of a frustration shot there. He hasn't gotten many good looks, and he forced that one a little bit.
Dylan Alderson will come in for Toledo at the next whistle. Berger trying to shake loose from Navigado. Great cut from Waugh. Better pass to set him up.
Better pass and court vision, but again, Waugh helps him by moving without the basketball and getting into his vision where he can see him. (47-42). Konecki on the turnaround. Didn't get the bounce.
No baskets for Toledo the last almost 3 minutes. They've made just one of their last 8. Waugh comes up empty on the triple try. On the foul, thought Sanford caught a bit of the forearm, but no call.
Well, and again, just as we saw Sanford at the other end, probably not a good shot in their offense from Waugh there. He was really kind of forcing. They've been getting a lot of their good looks off of that ball movement in the rotation, and that time it really kind of stuck in Waugh's hands. Those are one of those that when they go in, everyone says, you know, how great a shot it was, but when they miss, people sit up here and say, oh, it was forced. So I guess it's real easy sitting up here. But
Ohio Northern has missed all 6 of their triple tries in the second half. Toledo 5 of 19 in total from long range. Max Harnett is in, number 42. First time we've seen him tonight. 6'8" senior from Kettering, Ohio. Fletcher on the pull-up, missed it. Got his own rebound, put it back up and in. Treshawn Fletcher now with 19 points.
Well, you know what, again, you think about all the kids that are watching at home on that. That is just how you would teach it. He recognizes his miss, his head stays up, and he's the best one to know where it's going to go, and he goes and gets it and goes right back up with it strong. And he didn't hang his head, he didn't pout that he missed a shot. He stays in the play, and now he gets rewarded with a 3-point chance.
And Fletcher scoring at such volume, I can't keep up. He's got 21, now 22 after the free throw. Rockets lead extended back to 8 points at 50-42. Berger from NBA range.
Jackson that time got caught going below the screen. I was kind of forgetting the range that Berger has as opposed to staying on his hip and going over the top of the screen. He went below it, and that's really all the room that Berger needs to get his shot away.
That will get Justin Roberts into the game. He waits at the scorer's table. Nate Berger has been excellent, 20 points. Marion Jackson way too long on the 3. Taylor Adway, though, kept it alive. Sanford from the outside. Still can't find the range, and Alderson went over the back of Travis Fitt's hands to try and tap it back out. So the foul called on the freshman from Clarkston, Michigan. Ohio Northern not going away. Luke Kanapke with a flush. He's got 9 points. Well, the Rocket lead just 5. Well, Nate Berger is keeping Ohio Northern in this game. He's knocked down 5 threes tonight. He has a team-high 20 points, and it's not just scoring. He also has 6 rebounds and 5 assists.
Well, he's played a complete game up to this point, and again, we focus so much on the three-point shooting, and you kind of forget about those assists and the opportunities, and the attention he's getting from the Toledo defense is opening up opportunities for the other guys on the floor.
Here is Berger. Got loose again. This time missed the shot. Dylan Sanford up with the rebound for Toledo. Rockets will take on Oakland on Saturday night here at Savage Arena. Be able to catch that game here on ESPN3. Adway bobbled, but finished anyway. Nice move by the junior.
The quick first step there, once he squared up in the low post, really kind of got that open and allowed him even the opportunity to kind of fumble around there. But nice to see from Adway.
He really improved toward the end of last year. He was terrific off the bench in that game against Ball State. That was the Taylor Person show when he went off in the first half, scored the first 21 points, I think it was, for Ball State. Jump ball is called. Great defense there by Taylor Adway inside.
Well, Taylor is going to have to contribute for the Rockets to have success here. That's at both ends of the floor. I think his ability to he'll get more and more comfortable scoring, but he's going to have to make his presence felt on plays like that at the defensive end.
Adway from the same high school, Hillcrest High School, as Rocket great Juice Brown. Fletcher's had the hot hand all night for Toledo, 22 points. Eyes a deep 3 and hits.
Confidence and rhythm are a wonderful thing when you're shooting the basketball, and right now he's playing very confidently.
Whistle away from the ball, and it's on Ohio Northern. It's the fourth on Austin Allmeyer.
I'm thinking it got called on a away from the ball screen there. Trying to watch Alderson, helping recover there to get back on that shooter, and didn't see where the foul came.
So Allmeyer gets the hook. Only two Ohio Northern players in any kind of foul trouble. Allmeyer with 4, Donner on the bench with 3. Justin Roberts from the corner missed it. Adway couldn't quite get a hand to it. It's plucked out of the air by Brandon Waugh. Waugh, who took nursing classes his last year in high school. In fact, had to leave Columbus Northland, go to another venue to take a 3-hour nursing course. Nice pass down to Bruns, who had it roll off. Bruns got it back, and from close range, got it to go.
Bruns kind of made full circle there. He went around one side and missed it, and worked his way back across the lane as 2 or 3 Rockets weren't able to get to it.
Sanford on the cut, drew the contact. That's the 6th Ohio Northern foul. Going to get Brandon Waugh for his 2nd. Yeah, reaching in. He reached in just a split second before Nate Berger did.
And I think they're going to say Sanford was in the act of shooting that. He's going to get to the free throw line.
Tough night for Jalen so far. Held to just 6 points to this point. Now 7. 2 of 10 from the floor. Missed all 5 threes that he has attempted. It's a pair at the line. The Rocket lead is 10. That ties their biggest lead of the night. That's this pesky Ohio Northern squad. Waugh very quick. No-look feed to Bruns, and it's swatted by Adway. Adway did have 3 blocks against St. Joe's, putting that athleticism to good use. And then Fletcher's pass a little too high for Dylan Alderson to handle.
Well, again, looking for Adway to contribute at that defensive end, not only just with those athletic plays, but getting himself in the right position at the right times to be able to make those plays. And we see him here, react and then re-react and go up straight and strong and make a good play.
Berger goes right at Adway, unafraid, scores off the high glass. Berger now with 22 points. The Polar Bears not going quietly here with 8.5 to play in the game. Sanford went right at Bruns. Stay with Toledo, 12 on the shot clock. Ryan Bruns, not an easy player to score on. 124 career blocks at Ohio Northern coming into tonight. Has single season records for blocks in a season among both freshmen and sophomores. He's a junior now, so you would think he'll probably do it again as Adway can't finish at point-blank range.
Well, he contested the Adway that time, and Taylor went up strong. He just didn't finish.
Ohio Northern shooting 28.6% in this second half. Toledo called for a foul, and that Bronx cheer coming from the pocket of Ohio Northern fans behind the bench.
They get Alderson kind of a slight shove there in the lower back, pushing him off that mid-block.
Kanapke and Navigado back in for Toledo. Alderson and Adway to the bench. Here's Bruns going at his high school teammate Luke Kanapke, who reached in. 7:56 left in this one. Ohio Northern doing their best to hang around. Nice finish there from Ryan Bruns. Ohio Northern trailing Toledo by 8 with 8 to play. Well, win, lose, or a draw here, Rich Bensman, the Ohio Northern head coach, Jay Gast, has to be pleased with what he's seen from his team tonight.
Oh, he's got to be beyond pleased. And now you're going to get greedy and expect to figure out a way to make this happen. And certainly that's a guy that can help you right there. Good move by Bruns, and you know they're in this game. It's anybody's ball game.
Well, Toledo has had trouble in recent years, occasionally with teams not up the Division I level, as Jalen Sanford gets it to nestle in from mid-range. Played some great exhibition games with Hillsdale over the years, beating them once at the buzzer and once in double overtime. And as I mentioned earlier, these two schools played right before Christmas 1985, a game that Toledo only won by a point. Great work from Berger, and Bruns was fouled as Konecki went up for the block.
Did they get Fletcher on the way up?
They did.
Yep. It looked like Konecki's block was clean, but Fletcher got him on the arm just as he was going up. And good find by Berger. And
yeah, he definitely did reach in as Bruns was going up. Fletcher was making a case that it should be a foul on the floor. Bruns, a 68% free throw shooter last year, knocks in the first. Bruns closing in on a double-double. Now 9 points and 11 boards. Ohio Northern actually +2 on the glass in this game. And 14 offensive rebounds to Toledo's 10, but Ohio Northern able to turn those 14 offensive boards into just 3 second chance points. Conversely, Toledo 10 offensive boards and 9 second chance points.
A lot of Ohio Northern's offensive rebounds have been on longer rebounds to where they're not in maybe close to the position of the basket to convert it. They factor it back into their set offense.
Nice spin by Bruns to the baseline.
He's starting to kind of take over the offensive end for Ohio Northern now. I think he's touched the ball the last 3 possessions down the floor and made good basketball plays.
Little lead has been trimmed to 5, and it's 7 again, thanks to a nice move to the basket from Jalen Sanford.
Well, that's what we talked about, getting Sanford away from the point guard duties where he's able to cut and move more without the basketball. I really think it helps his ability to score.
It's interesting. Didn't think there would be much of a point guard battle coming into this year. Marion Jackson started the first 2 games, but Justin Roberts has come in, played almost equal minutes to Marion Jackson tonight. In fact, they both played 13 minutes to this point. Roberts is making a case for himself, I think.
He's represented himself very well. He didn't get the minutes against St. Joseph's that Jackson did, but you know, certainly this is his chance to kind of to show what he's got in the bright lights, and so far he's played pretty well.
Berger missing, Fitz hands, tapped it back out to him, and a fresh 30 for Ohio Northern.
Toledo set in kind of this staggered zone that we see from him. Now they switch to the man as Roberts follows his man through.
Run set the screen, and Berger couldn't cash in. Jalen Sanford now with 12 points and 6 rebounds. Navigado pulling up at the free throw line. Pulled down by DiOrio for the Polar Bears. But offensive fluidity that we saw on Saturday from Toledo against St. Joe's just hasn't been there tonight, has it?
No, it's kind of more of a sputter. You know, it's just they'll go a couple possessions and then it won't come right back. And, good rebound there, one-handed by Navigado as he got tied up there in kind of a half Nelson wrestling move, I think.
Yeah, Fitzhands was pinning the other one.
A good position by Navigado, and he pushes him right under the basket within the rules, and able to get his hand on the rebound.
Navigado could find a way to become a more reliable rebounder. That would give Toledo that other dimension in the front court, because he's always been really a 3 or a stretch 4, and if he could be someone that you could count on for 5 rebounds a game, that would make a big difference.
Well, they're going to need to, and they're going to need that, and we've seen that. You know, Sanford's a good rebounder from the guard position, but Toledo, because of the makeup of the team and their body types, is going to need, especially on the defensive boards, all 5 guys participating in rebounding. You're going to need them blocking out, you're going to need them in good position, and you're going to need them to attack to get the basketball. All 5 guys, simply because you don't have that Nathan Booth, Steve Taylor type body in there. That's just not the makeup of this group.
Kowalczyk said in the offseason that he thought this would be a better rebounding team than last year. Last year, with Steve Taylor being one of the best defensive rebounders in the country, a lot of times guys didn't even go up for rebounds because they knew Steve would get it. Bruns with another nice move. All of a sudden, he's got 13 points.
Well, he's kind of now becoming the focal point of the offense, working away from the behind the three-point line and kind of getting it in him in that mid-post.
Fletcher couldn't quite corral it. Fletcher with 25 points and 10 boards, but it feels like he's been quiet for a bit. Under 4.5 to play. And the Polar Bears find a way back. Bruns on the inside, blocked into the backboard, but it's goaltending called on Kanapke.
I think it was DiOrio there that set just a beautiful back screen pick for Bruns to roll through, and we see the tail end of it here, but you know, it was a good back screen and good cut by Bruns to get open.
Navigado. Justin Roberts set him up. It rimmed out. Fletcher had it tapped to him. Bruns trying to take it away. That's off of Kanapke, and it's Ohio Northern basketball. Could be a furious finish here at Savage Arena. Toledo is led by as many as 10 in the second half, but Ohio Northern, with just under 4 minutes to play, have cut it to 5. Can the Polar Bears come all the way back? We'll find out. Well, Toledo trying to hang on here against Ohio Northern. Polar Bears have been terrific tonight. Only trailed the Rockets by 5. We talked not that long ago about how Rich Bensman, the Ohio Northern coach, no matter what happens in this game, has to be thrilled with the performance. The same cannot be said of Todd Kowalczyk. No,
totally two very opposite ends of the meter as far as what they'll take away. You know, again, you know, obviously every opportunity, practice game, you know, everything is a coaching point. So there'll be a lot from each side that they'll have as a result of tonight, good, bad, and otherwise.
Ariane Jackson back out there for Toledo as Nate Berger fouled on his way up.
Berger kind of gave Jackson a little stop and go there right at the top. We catch the tail end of it. He just blows right by, and then Jackson doesn't get any help. Kanapke got caught on the high side of Bruns. He did a nice job screening him off, kind of opening that seam up. We've seen Ohio Northern now maybe struggle. They've missed a couple of free throws here in the last couple of trips, and you know, they're trying to inch this thing a little closer. That could come back behind.
Not so few free throws tonight. Now just 4 of 7 for the game.
So much of their first half was on the perimeter, so they weren't getting a lot going to the basket.
Jalen Sanford fouled before the shot.
I think they've got...
it's Allmeyer is fouled out.
And he may have gotten a technical as he was walking off the floor.
Personal foul. Number 5, Austin Allmeyer, his 5th personal foul. That'll be the team's 8th.
So the sophomore from Elida fouls out. So Austin Allmeyer departs with no points, 1 rebound, 2 turnovers, and possibly a technical foul after he fouled out. It would appear that way. Nate Navigado will head to the free throw line for 2.
Nate should be shooting the technicals.
Navigado, outstanding three-point shooter. And Rich Bensman having gotten an explanation from the referee. Back for a word or two with Allmeyer, and that animated conversation continues.
Position to number 5, Austin Allmeyer, that will count as a team foul as well. It's the team's of 9.
Can't give another personal to Allmeyer after he fouled out. The technical, however, does count as a team foul, so now 9 Ohio Northern team fouls. Sanford misses the front end. So still a 5-point game with 3.5 left.
Yeah, the Rockets swung and missed a little bit on that one. They had a really chance to stretch it out.
Ryan Bruns inside, going to work on Kanapke. Back to the wing, he feeds Donner, who knocks in the 3. It's a 2-point game.
Boy, Bruns was patient. He didn't have the play. He felt Kanapke, and he kicked it right back out. Navigado wasn't able to get there quick enough. Good shot.
Does Navigado have the answer? He does.
Much better release that time from Nate. The last one, which was kind of right in front of his on line as well. He didn't quite have himself squared up that time, but on the time before. But that was a much better, more confident stroke that we're more used to seeing from him.
Boy, Diorio has been quiet. He hit 3 threes in the first half, none in the second. Funneled a lot more through Ryan Bruns in the low post. Over Kanapke, didn't get the roll. Off of Navigado, it will stay with Ohio Northern and a fresh 30.
Good call. A lot of hands and bodies in there kind of haggling around for it, but it's, you can see Nate just kind of push it right out there over the top of Ohio Northern players' hands.
Bruns right back to work. He missed again, and Kanapke pulled it down.
Bruns gets deep in that post up.
Fletcher missing the layup at the other end. So still a 5-point game after all those misses, including the Rockets missing at the free throw line. Kanapke, by the way, now with 9 points to go with 10 rebounds. Berger goes by Navigado, slipped it to Bruns and sent away by Kanapke.
Good help and recover by Big Luke that time. We saw him come and kind of discouraged the drive, and then he was able to recover back to his man for the block. So nice play by Big Luke.
The 6th Toledo block tonight. Todd Kowalczyk takes a timeout with 1:40 to play.
You see here, Kanapke comes, helps, and then quickly recovers, spins back, and good timing. Like a shot of his old high school teammate.
Tell you what, this seems to me like an Ohio Northern team. I think 6th in the Ohio Athletic Conference in preseason. Don't sleep on these guys.
No, I mean, again, I can't say I'm super familiar with all the teams in their league, but you know, they certainly, if they're the 6th best team in that league, I don't think I want to see too many of those if I'm on the other side. You know, they're well coached, they execute very well, and you know, they. I mean, again, there's a big motivator coming in here. They're coming in, getting an opportunity to play in a Division I arena.
Sure.
You know, against a backyard neighbor, as it were. So.
Treshawn Fletcher fouled by Bruns en route to the basket.
There might have been a little frustration out of Fletcher on that drive. He was a little the time before he wasn't quite as forceful or aggressive. This time he took it to the basket with some force.
3rd on Bruns. Toledo 10 of 16 at the free throw line tonight. These are Fletcher's 5th and 6th free throw attempts of the game. Made 3 of his first 4, and now 4 of 5.
Well, if you're Toledo, don't sleep on the defensive end. Ohio Northern has shot, you know, not as well in the second half, obviously, as they did in the first half, but you know, you can't give them the slightest window with a couple of those shooters.
Treshawn Fletcher now with 27 points. 27 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Good defense by Justin Roberts on Nate Berger.
Good job staying on the floor, not going for the shot fakes.
Watt twisting and turning, but stripped by Sanford.
Well, again, Kanapke kind of made that by sliding over and helping Sanford and doubling up there on the baseline. He's made a couple good position defensive plays here going down the stretch.
And Sanford lost the dribble. comes DiOrio the other way. Navigado defending. Good work by him. Polar Bears could not take advantage on the break. The foul committed by Joey DiOrio. Should probably do it. 7-point game, 33 seconds left. All about survival. Even at this early point in the season, the important thing, I suppose, is that you get the win.
Well, yeah, I mean, you as I say, you play to win the game, and you know everyone ultimately is gauged on wins and losses. Some wins are better, but again, I think both teams are going to take a lot away from this, and certainly there's going to be a lot of discussion in the Rockets film sessions and practices, and again, you win and move on, and you look ahead. In 30 seconds from now, you look ahead to Oakland on Saturday night. As Coach Nichols always told us, you're only as good as your next game and your next practice. So you take care of business tonight, and then you get ready for the next one.
Well, Oakland, an awfully good team coming in. They've added Kendrick Nunn, the Illinois transfer this year. He's only averaging 30 points a game after 2. Had 39 against Fort Wayne in their season opener. Martez Walker, the transfer from Texas. Got so much talent. And a former Toledo assistant that you know quite well, and Greg Campy, their head coach.
Yeah, were it not for Coach Campy, I probably wouldn't be sitting here making you miserable, Mason. So, he was very instrumental in me coming to Toledo, and I'm always happy to see him. And Greg's been a good friend now, and he's been very successful. I always have to give him credit. He always takes care of my family when Oakland goes down to Northern Kentucky to play, and make sure he looks out after my mom and sister and stuff. So he's just a good guy. Except for Saturday night when they play the Rockets.
Yes, indeed. Boy, Justin Roberts and Tyshawn Fletcher collided behind the play. Good to see Fletcher get back up as Navigado hits the first free throw. Our timeout coordinator here at Savage Arena is Mike Lozier. Terrific crew tonight, as always. Brian Danford, Justice Sunderland, Stevie Doty, Sid Chowdhury, Alex Suarez, all on cameras. Perry Bender and Jake Plagans running graphics. Stephen Estes on replay. Christian Kunitz on audio. Our director and technical director is Chris Sitterlin. Our executive producer, as always, at the University of Toledo is John Idemiller. Timeout taken with just under 20 seconds left. Toledo trying to put the finishing touches on this one. They look to go 2-0 before Oakland comes in on Saturday. It's great that Jordan Loff is still here. You get a good look at, the back of him anyway, right behind Taylor Radway. There are fan favorites, Jay, and then there are fan favorites. Everybody that hangs around Savage Arena, that hung around Savage Arena for 5 minutes while he was playing here, fell in love with the guy's game. The epitome of the hustle player, and as a senior started to produce offensively too.
And I think he got healthier, and again, but he continued to work. And again, I think if you were to paint a picture of what the prototypical historical Toledo Rocket would be into this era, it would have been Jordan Loff. And I do have to say that, the last few years, Jordan's always called me Mr. Gas, and now he's calling me Jay. So I'm glad he's not playing anymore, and he's been a fine representative of the university. And echoing that, it's nice to see Justin Ingram, another former Rocker, as director of basketball operations, that Coach Kowalczyk has brought him in on staff, and Justin had a tremendous career here, and I think seeing the things he's doing as director of basketball operations, he's going to be a huge asset again now in a different role for the Rocket program.
That's a foul on Waugh. Big moving screen left Justin Roberts in a heap. So I think the Rockets will run out the clock here. Marion Jackson will check back in after Roberts was taken out. Roberts did not score in this game, but gave Todd Kowalczyk 17 good minutes, a couple of rebounds, a couple of assists. Did not turn the ball over. Final seconds tick away on a Toledo win over a pesky Ohio Northern team. They may be Division III, but they did not play like it. Todd Kowalczyk and Rich Bensman shake hands. Toledo now 2-0 for this 72-62 win.
Well, I'd certainly credit Ohio Northern with coming in here, playing hard, playing well, and really in significant spurts of the game, outplaying the Rockets. And, I now having an opportunity to watch them in person, I look forward now to following them a little more closely this season after having experienced them firsthand. And, I certainly like to think they will do well in their league, and very, very pleased to watch them play. I'm very impressed.
Well, they certainly look like a team that could make some noise in the Ohio Athletic Conference, which Marietta is picked to win, incidentally. Jalen Sanford and Trayshawn Fletcher helping to lead the Rocket charge tonight. Let's take a look back at the highlights. A lot of Ohio Northern highlights from that first half. The steal and three from Joey DiOrio right there. Trayshawn Fletcher was terrific tonight. 27 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists.
Again, more comfortable on the court than he was Saturday night. I think we're going to continue to see that. He's going to get more comfortable with his teammates and more comfortable just playing. But, Ohio Northern, as we said repeatedly, just shot lights out and really played well, especially in that first half.
Nate Berger was terrific for Ohio Northern. A team-high 23 points, one of 3 Polar Bears to finish in double figures. And in the end, he was close to a triple-double, too. Only 5'10", with 23 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Did not come off the floor tonight either, all 40 minutes.
And very deceptive. I didn't realize that, sometimes you can recognize guys and what they're doing, and I didn't recognize he was getting that many rebounds. But, boy, he's just a scrapper, and, I think he could play on any team for me or with me. I'm certainly very impressed with him.
Ryan Bruns, too, 15 points, 12 boards. He ended up with a double-double tonight going against his old high school teammate Luke Kanapke, who had 9 and 11. Berger showing he could get it done in more ways than one. But really hurt Ohio Northern in the second half. Kind of lost that ability to shoot the three. They made 9 threes the first half, just 2 in the second.
Well, and I do think late in the game they started more into Bruns, which kind of took away from the three-point shooting. Maybe part of a conscious effort because it was getting down into the nitty-gritty, and he certainly really 7-minute mark there. I think with 3 or 4 straight possessions, he really made solid plays. But I thought Luke Kanapke played pretty well for Toledo defensively. We see right on cue there. He put himself in good positions. We saw the help and recover block. There was another help situation where he caused a turnover, helping Sanford. So again, those are the little things that help save possessions and help win games.
So in the end, Ohio Northern shoot 34% from the floor to Toledo's 42.4%. Coach Kowalczyk said he wanted to see his team shoot more threes. They got 25 of them off against St. Joe's, took 26 tonight, but only made 7 of them.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't mind them shooting 26. It might bother him that they only made 7 of them, just a guess. But there again, that comes with the territory. You know there are nights when you are not going to shoot the ball as well as other nights, and you just hope that all your shooters are not shooting the ball poorly on the same night. And I think, we saw Sanford struggle tonight. Navigado, had a little more difficult time than we saw on Saturday night. And again, could it be some of it's you can't help. These are young men, and they recognize the difference in the opponents, and maybe you don't want to give them excuses, but that they'll get better because of this. They got out of here with a win, which is the intention, and certainly they'll live to play another game. Look forward to Oakland on Saturday.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. Greg Campy will bring his Golden Grizzlies into town to take on these Toledo Rockets. That game is part of the Hoop Hall Miami Invitational, one of 4 games that Toledo will play in that event this year. They'll go to Syracuse and Kansas. They'll host Oakland and Texas Southern. Should be fun. We believe we will also have women's preseason NIT action on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock as well here at Savage Arena against an opponent to be determined. So for sure. We'll have plenty of Toledo Rocket hoops for you this weekend.
Most definitely. Nothing better to do on a Saturday in November.
Absolutely. For Jay Gast and all of our technical crew, this is Mason Lowry saying so long from Savage Arena in Toledo, Ohio. The Toledo Rockets take out Ohio Northern 72-62 to pull to 2-0 on the young season. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our ESPN family of networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a University of Toledo presentation of ESPN.